I had to go with the river here. Well, if I'm going to pick up people along the way and they're going to get on my boat, I better float my boat how it's good for them, not just what's good for me. So you kind of learn to be servant-minded as you're leading change. And a lot of leaders have that issue, never mind with involving change, just as a leader. Oh, I'm the leader, I'm the boss. No. Servant leadership, very important part of leading change. So, the other factor that falls into this, we all think we're better than we are. We all think our department is better than the next department. We all think our company's better than the other company, right? And you could give us a little insight from the Baldridge, how you all learned that you might not have been as perfect as you thought you were going into it, right? How did that feel?
I mean, even those that win the award, you're getting 600 scores out of 1,000. So,
right.
You're not perfect.
You're not perfect. But we all, I think the most common thing we've heard from Baldridge winners is we didn't know how bad we were when we started. We had no idea how bad we were as an organization, or how poorly our systems were designed, or how inefficient we were until we got into our quality journey.
First 40 to 50% of a business is fairly easy. The next 25% is
the tough bell-shaped curve, huh? So, because of that, and if we're going to lead the change, we better look at ourselves first. We better go back to the skill list and say, okay, where's my skill set? Who should I get on this team to help me with my weak areas, right? Because I know I'm weak in these areas, and even though I maybe have tried to be better, I'm still not as strong as I'd like to be. This is a massive change I'm leading. I better get someone on the table that's going to help close that gap for me. So you have to pick your coaches, your lead people very carefully if you're leading a major change that you want to be sustainable, and we all want our changes to be sustainable, don't we? So you have to look at that. Go back to the list. What are my best qualities? What are my worst qualities? What are my best skills? What are my worst skills? Am I in that? Do I have the right attitude? Or if I don't, I better check in occasionally. How's my attitude, team? How did I do? How'd that presentation? When we talked the last time, how did it sound? Oh, Gail, you were phenomenal. Oh, thank you. Or Gail, I think you pissed them off. Right? You get it, right? You cannot do it alone. You've got to think about how you as a human being are going to lead this, and you better get people at the table to check yourself against, and to allow the talent to expand by bringing the right people on board. Okay, Albert Einstein says become a student of change. Well, that's a good thing. We want to do that, right? And our wonderful Dr. Deming, who was here in the 90s. Anyone else go to see him? Who was there? You were there? It's pretty amazing, wasn't it?
Yep, very much. I wrote the eulogy for him.
You did?
Yeah.
Wow.
Right after I arrived in Albuquerque.
Is that right?
Yeah. I had just written it for the newsletter of the Deming Management Association. And then a month later I was here, and people found out that I had done that. They asked me to write something for this. That was 25 years ago.
I know. It was a long time ago. His 14 points back in the 80s. What's common about all those 14 points? In your way of doing something. Action verb. They each start with an action verb. Create, adopt, cease, end, improve, institute. Every one of them starts with action.
He also believed and taught that no matter how right you think you are, you're frequently wrong, but not that wrong.
Yeah.
As exemplified in the red bead experience.
Exactly. That was a powerful, and if you haven't seen that, go online and look up Red Bead Experiment. When I was at ASRT, we had my process champions acted it out. They did a little skit for the whole team, for the whole staff. And we did it out in the warehouse where we'd have more room, and we acted it out, and everyone remembers it, and everyone remembers the point. It's really powerful.
Oh, the one about the music?
No, the beads, red bead
Yeah.
experiment. Carl?
Another thing I noticed about that, once you make a change up here, like he's not saying there's good things being done over here, he's saying make changes.
Yep. Yep. Put
Sometimes-
everyone in the company to work for accomplishing the transformation. Today at our Studer training we had, which is basically Baldrige-based training at UNM, 500 leaders in the room in every seat. We took up every table. They hammered on that. Every one of you is leaders at UNM. This involves you. And it was like, gee, not a new concept, but a pretty darn important one, right? Very important. So, I mean, we know what we have to do. It's documented, it's proven, it's evidence-based, right? So why aren't we always successful? It's hard. Every quality management system, as all of you know, includes the improvement component. You will improve. You will have a program. You will have a system for improving and maintaining a change methodology. And every change requires a change leader, a change master. But how many organizations train people on becoming that?
I've never seen more than a project leader. The others are new terms to
And
me.
think how important that is to the health of an organization. People become that, but nobody says, in our organization, we are going to teach people to lead change, because there is nothing more important than sustaining the improvements that we make here.
Most people are adverse to change. So
They-
to teach people how to lead it is pretty,
Right.
it's pretty novel.
But again, that's the skill set that's demanded in this day and age.
The other thing is frequently the change master needs to be the gunfighter or the Shane character, if you will, from the movie. Is you come in, you do your job, and you move on down the road.
Right,
you-
like
you-
they
you-
come in and straighten out an organization
The
and
the water.
then
may
fire a
be-
bunch of people.
Whatever, the water may be muddied, and you may not be, the change guy may not be an effective sustainer.
Right.
And
Or
he
well
may have
managed.
left.
Carl?
Well, I'd say a difficult thing with change is you've got to overcome certain resistance to it. I mean, it's not that
That's
people
right.
don't necessarily
We're
want
gonna talk
change,
about that.
but there are people with their, I don't know, their, what's the word I want, their what?
They're sicker fellows.
Well, yeah, whatever, they have their priorities, especially leadership.
Personal
is
agenda.
afraid of that.
Right.
And so you see that today with even our congressional people.
And they're not looking at the good of the whole.
Yeah.
So sometimes political, right?
Well, change also requires change in leadership and management.
Quite often change in leadership.
And those people don't want to go.
Yeah.
And they resist it the most. And so if it doesn't come from the top, it doesn't work.
Quite
And
often
those
that's
are
the case.
sometimes the biggest barriers.
Biggest barrier can be your own leadership. Yes, sir.
There's also cynicism.
There's also what?
Cynicism.
Cynicism.
Because we've all seen change efforts that haven't worked, that haven't
Right.
been sustained.
Right.
And so there's the flavor of the month.
Learned behavior.
feeling.
He's also maybe not invented here.
Believe it or not, my first degree was in behavioral psychology. And you know, the carrot and the stick, right? It's learned. It's learned behavior. So, if you are in a position where you can help the right person lead the right change, whether it's you or if it's not you, be courageous enough to say, it's not me, but this is who needs, I'll be on the team, I'll support this person, but the really person has to be this one with a certain skill set or a certain knowledge or whatever it takes. The right person